Thanks and welcome to join me on the 6:15. I'm Kejang Henry Atimbe, our top stories. With just hours left before the curtains fall on candidacy submissions for the 2025 presidential race, presidential aspirants are making a last-minute dash to Elekam. Over 30 contenders have filed in so far, with fresh entries recorded this Monday morning in Yaoundé, making the race to Etudi a melting pot for political veterans and newcomers. A week after bulldozers tore through Douala's central market, displaced traders are still grappling with the aftermath. Stripped of their shops and without relocation plans, many are now roaming the streets with goods in tow, hoping for a brighter future. Sub stories.
Canal International.
On our respective platforms on Canal International, I'm Kejang Henry Atimbe. Now, with just a few hours left for the curtains to draw on the submissions of 20 candidates or files for the 2025 presidential race, aspirants are making the last-minute dash to the Elekam's offices across the country. So far, over 30 contenders have filed in Yaoundé, and of course, the fresh entries have recorded by Hyacinth.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Elekam in a very busy day, I must say, given that it is the last day for a deposition of candidacies for the October 12, 2025 presidential elections. And as of this moment, the commission in charge here has received over 17 different files from different aspirants. We are looking at those that deposited early in the morning, like Serge Espoir Tumba. We are looking at Onjuangba Alfred, who deposited as an independent candidate. Celestin Jamentu was here, but though without elected officials, he deposited under his party, the upper party. And we equally have a lot of independent candidates in the person of Sosten Foda Nucha Eric, in the person of Alex Biwolo. All of those vying as independent candidates. And of course, we equally have people that have deposited under different political parties. We've had Harim Iyodo, the national president of the MP3 party, but though invested here by the FDC party of Denis Emilien Tangana. And of course, the UPC, as of this moment, this day, have had two aspirants here brought by different factions. We are looking at Yam Etambi Dominic, invested by one of the factions that got here in the afternoon. And of course, as we speak, Abdurrahman is the flag bearer of another faction of the UPC here. He's right in there to deposit his file for the presidential race. And of course, the day is still very long here, given that the commission in charge has to close their doors today at midnight. Deadline for the deposition of the different candidacies vying for the October elections. Election quarters in to you.
Thank you very much, Hyacinth Chair, for that update. And Cameroon is heading to what many have described as the most open and competitive presidential race ever. With over 40 candidates that are filed in by the deadline, the race to Etudi has become a melting pot for political veterans as well as newcomers. Ndi Morin.
Cameroon is witnessing an unprecedented political moment as over 40 candidates have submitted their applications to contest the presidential election scheduled for October 12, 2025. This surge in candidacies reflects a diverse array of political figures, from seasoned politicians to newcomers, all aspiring to lead the nation from the Unity Palace in Yaoundé. Among familiar faces is 92-year-old incumbent President Paul Biya, who has been in power since 1982. Other notable contenders include Maurice Kamto, Cabral Libi of the PCRN, Joshua Osi of the Social Democratic Front, Celestine Jammeh, Tomaino Ndamjoya, Hile Zipang, Serge Expoa Matomba. Additionally, former ministers Isat Ruma Bakari and Bello Boba Maigari have entered the race, signaling shifts within the political landscape. The 2025 election also sees a surge of new entrants aiming to reshape Cameroon's political future. Leon Taylor Onana, a CPD municipal councillor, has submitted his candidacy, challenging the party's internal dynamics. Sita Gaston Atiki, representing the Liberal Alliance Party, is a background of civil society activism to the presidential bid. Also have faces like Shewa David and a lot more, all adds to a diverse pool of candidates. The wide array of candidates, according to political analysts, underscores a growing desire for political change and inclusivity in Cameroon. While some candidates may not advance past the validation stage, analysts say their participation may highlight a vibrant democratic spirit and electorate's appetite for varied leadership options. Coming months will be pivotal in determining the future leadership and direction of Cameroon.
And as the windows for candidacy submissions closes, Cameroon transitions into the next critical phase of its 2025 presidential election. So the calendar is already rolling. By August 11, ELECAM, that is the Elections Management Body, is expected to publish the official list of candidates retained for the race. And of course, that will set the stage for the October showdown. Once more, Morinti.
Following the close of candidacy submissions on July 21, 2025, Cameroon enters a critical phase in its electoral calendar as outlined by the National Electoral Code. The next step is the publication of eligible candidates with deadline as August 11, 2025. Elections Cameroon ELECAM is now tasked with examining all candidacy files. By law, it must publish an official list of approved candidates by August 11, 2025, which is at least 60 days before the scheduled presidential election on October 12. This provision is stipulated in Section 126 of the Electoral Code. And the next stage is appeals to the Constitutional Council, which begins on August 12 to 13, 2025. Here, candidates whose files are rejected have a 3-day window to file an appeal before the Constitutional Council, as per Section 129, if a disqualified candidate was endowed by a political party. That third has 2 days to designate a new representative in accordance with Section 130. Next is the campaign period, which begins on September 27 to October 11, 2025. This gives room for the official campaign period that spans 15 days, during which approved candidates present their political agendas to the electorate. Campaign activities officially conclude at midnight on the eve of the election, as stipulated in Section 87(1) of the Electoral Code. The election day follows on Sunday, October 12, 2025. Citizens across the country will head to the designated polling stations to cast their votes. According to Section 86(3), presidential elections must be held on a Sunday. Provisional results and legal challenges will unfold between October 13 and 19, 2025. The National Commission for the General Counting of Votes is expected to announce provisional results within 9 days after the vote. Candidates or parties dissatisfied with the outcome have 72 hours from the publication of these results to submit appeals to the Constitutional Council, Section 133 of the Electoral Code. Final results and swearing-in must follow by November 9, 2025. The Constitutional Council must proclaim the final results no later than 15 days after the election, that is, by October 26, 2025. This according to Section 137. The President-elect will then be sworn in within 15 days after that, by November 9, 2025, as required under Section 140(1).
President Paul Biya has unveiled a strategic blueprint for Cameroon's 2026 state budget. And in a circular that was signed July 18, the head of state outlined priority ranging from economic transformation and job creation to social justice and tax reforms. Beatrice Ngamo is our chief correspondent in Yaoundé, takes a look on that reforms.
In this circular, signed by the President of the Republic, the state budget for 2026 fiscal year must align with a central ambition, accelerating economic transformation in the spirit of inclusive growth, matching country's structural challenges, and meeting the needs of the population. Industrialization remains at the heart of the strategy, with strong support for Made in Cameroon, boosting processing, agriculture, agro-industry, and energy. The head of government is urged to intensify investment in these critical sectors. The circular also sets the course for strengthening the energy supply, particularly through the completion of dams and other projects. Priorities remain the modernization of these important basics such as electricity, transport, access to drinking water, and improvement of roads. Combating fraud while enhancing transparency and building trust between taxpayers and the administration. Socially, the budget's efforts must focus on improving health services, access to education, supporting the vulnerable population, more vocational training centers, school textbooks, and infrastructure developments for the new public university, not to mention social safety nets and purchasing power of vulnerable households. A strategic document that paves the way for a budget focused on industrialization, social justice, and economic sovereignty that will boost not only growth, but the welfare of the population at large.
Thanks very much, Beatrice Ngam. The aftermath of that strip-off. And so their shops and strip off from their shops, and with no relocation plan, many of them are roaming the street with goods on their head and on toes, hoping for brighter futures. Sherifa Saleh went through the central market and our report.
This is how she does her trade now, moving through the market with dresses on her head. Since losing her stall to demolition, she has no fixed spot and no shelter. I had my small space at the market entrance, and when they demolished the market, I became mobile. I have no choice, but what I know is that they are doing a just cause. And except, like many others, she is left to sell under the sun, hoping someone will stop and buy.
On se demande bien où est-ce qu'on ira. Parce que pour qu'une bonne casse soit faite, il faut quand même penser à recaser des commerçants.
The demolition, carried out by the Douala 2 Council, aimed to clear out aging structures to make way for new, modern stalls. While some vendors support the idea, many say the lack of immediate alternatives has deeply affected their livelihoods. It is really a tough one for us because we are househeads. We have children and families to feed. When policemen come around, we run away, and when they are gone, we come back. We have no choice, and right now we are losing customers. According to affected sellers, the mayor of Douala 2 has asked all displaced traders to register with the council, a move seen as the first step towards potential resettlement or compensation. Still, no clear timeline has been provided. The mayor have asked that everybody who have lost a shop should come register at the council. What's there now is that not everybody had a land title. While waiting for shops, we have no choice than to do our trade in open air. We have been told to wait a few years for rehabilitation works to be done. Meantime, we have mouths to feed at home. What are we supposed to do? For now, daily life at the central market of Douala remains uncertain. Traders continue to sell in the open air, relying on foot traffic and resilience, hoping their situation won't last much longer.
What does it take to decolonize the African mind? For researcher Doug Greenblatt, it begins with education and a new way of thinking. His latest work, the Black Book Doctrine, argues for a radical shift from Eurocentric models to African-rooted or to Afro-rooted identity for future generations. Beatrice Ngamo takes a look on the Black Book Doctrine.
The Black Book Doctrine shed light on issues in the African society. Authored by researcher Dr. Ndangrimbal, the book dwells into systematic problems that plague Cameroon and Africa as a whole.
And politicians and candidates going for the presidential election should know that the main message now in Cameroon and in Africa is the Pan-African ideal. And that without the Pan-African ideal, it will be very difficult for peace to be obtained in Africa.
The author emphasizes that the objective of this book is to decolonize the African mind and boost self-esteem.
To tell the African, the black man, that you, black man, you are the birthplace and the origin of human civilization. Come out from the shackles and the manacles that you have been put into as a result of colonialism and neo-colonialism.
The postface on her part appreciates the work of the author, highlighting that the book blends spirituality, religion, and good governance.
For Africa, what are the misgivings? Are we able to forgive? Are we able to reproduce ourselves, to be able to come forth now as Africans who, even if we have to go for greener pastures, we don't go for greener pastures, we build up ourselves back in Africa.
Event featured discussions with the author, who shared his insight into his motivation for writing the book. The launching, attended by politicians, civil society actors, teachers, and media men and women, portrays the inclusive content. As the author signed copies of the Black Book Doctrine, it serves as a call to action for good leadership in the country.
Thank you very much, Huri Hamadu, for that report. After 31 years of dominating Cameroon's betting landscape and minting millionaires across the country, PMC is charting a bold step in its cause. The gaming giant has announced a strategic partnership with leading television broadcaster Canal International, marking a new dawn of a renewed vision to redefine the betting industry in Cameroon and beyond. Titles. Across Cameroon, PMC is stepping into a new era. With renewed energy and ambition, the company is repositioning itself to redefine the betting landscape in Cameroon and across Africa. July 21st, 2025 marked the official signing of a groundbreaking partnership between PMC and one of Cameroon's leading audiovisual media houses, Canal International. Speaking at the signing ceremony, PMC General Manager Usinum Bob emphasized that the move reflects PMC's commitment to innovation and digital transformation. The company is expanding its services in horse racing, football betting, and casino gaming, especially through digital platforms that meet the demands of today's tech-savvy market.
This
partnership is to consolidate what has been existing 30 years ago, which was just put on a halt to carry out some adjustment and to permit Canal International to accompany us meet with our long-term objectives. What is new in this partnership is what the customers are asking. Life race, we have to meet up with market areas where we're absent. Our presence should be felt on the digital space where we're equally absent, Paris sportive, visual and casino games. This is the new development in this new partnership. The agreement was formalized in Douala with the signatures from Mr. Joseph Futso of Canal International and Mr. Usenim Bob, General Manager of PMC, sealing what both parties described as a mutually beneficial long-term collaboration.
If
PMC is back, it's because they have carried out an extensive audience research in Cameroon and have confirmed that we are the leading TV channel in terms of audience reach. It has always been so since 2007. That is why they are here. They are satisfied with the work Canal International is doing. We want to assure them that we will work resolutely for this partnership. We have up-to-date technology to satisfy clients like PMEC. Our audience is happy with the sound quality as well as the image quality. Explaining the choice of Canal International as a strategic media partner, PMEC officials cited the TV's consistent leadership in Cameroon's media space, despite competition from over 78 audiovisual channels. Both institutions say their partnership is not just about brand visibility, but also about boosting the entire betting ecosystem, which contributes significantly to national revenue. With this alliance, PMEC and Canal International are setting the pace for a dynamic future where innovation, entertainment, and economic impact go hand in hand. And that advertorial there draws the curtain for this edition of the 6:15 with me, Kejang Henry at Timby. Liu Piju is coming up with the brief actuality from all of us. It's goodbye.